All right, so the other crazy thing going on, you're trying to buy a piece of ice. Not ice agents, a giant piece of ice.
Giant piece of ice, big piece of ice. I think they said it's 2 or 3 times the size of Texas.
Yeah, Greenland.
Wonder why they call it Greenland.
Yeah, it's not very green. It's white.
White.
It's ice. It's ice and snow.
Can't call it Iceland because
Well,
there's
Iceland,
already
it's
ice.
already there, yeah. So I guess I got maybe underneath there's green something.
Yeah.
Maybe there's pieces of it that's green. I don't
You
know.
believe that the population of that place is 57,000 and Bethlehem over here is 102,000, just the town of Bethlehem. I mean,
Yeah, you can go through the town of Bethlehem in 3 miles. Here's a whole continent, right?
God.
Well, it's too damn cold. I don't even want to go out. Can you imagine?
They
that?
say there's parts of it that hasn't even been explored or even looked at.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
just desolate ice. That's all it is snow and ice.
Yeah, I found out something pretty cool. Not to get off this subject, but maybe it'd be cool because we could find more meteorites. But because layers of ice come up, through the years, they come up. Meteorites that came down to Earth years and years and years ago surface, and when they're looking for them, they could see these black dots way in the distance, and they're little meteorites that come up through the ice. Yeah, it's easier to find. Do it in Iceland too, and it's out north and south poles where it's frozen solid.
How do you know all this stuff? What are you?
I don't know. I'm learning.
What are you, Jacques Cousteau?
But they are easier to find, and that's how a lot of these hunters for meteorites go to when they could see.
Right.
You could see way out when there's a big black blob, and they go there. It's a meteorite from years ago. Anyway,
Remember the Odd Couple?
I know a little bit of everything.
Let's make a deal. Take the shrimp. Take the shrimp.
Yeah. What
Who are you, Jacques Cousteau?
Squid. Yeah, take the squid.
Yeah, the squid.
Yeah. Jacques Cousteau. So Greenland. Now, the one thing I'm going to disagree with, and you can battle me on this, I think it's absolutely ridiculous that he's threatening tariffs on some of our partners here, Denmark, Germany, France, and what really got me is the UK, because he made a nice deal with them, got rid of the tariffs were equal and blah, 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 and they made a great deal, and now he's blowing it and saying, well, we're going to hit you with 10% tariff or 25% tariff if you don't agree with me, big baby.
You're turning Democrat.
He's big baby. He's a baby.
Listen, he's a provocateur. How many times I got to tell you that?
Well, he's provocatoring me.
Takes those things, throws a grenade in, blows it up, and he wants to see when the dust settles what's he got. He's like that. I'm telling you, this tariff thing.
Well, what do you
it's
think?
Not going to last long. It's not. I'm telling you. I don't think it's going to last long.
Maybe he won't even do it, but
And this other thing about you think he's going to send troops in, he's not going to do that.
That
That would be the worst thing in his administration. You might as well just pack it up and leave because
I agree.
I keep hitting the microphone here.
No, I agree. If he goes in militarily, forget it. That's it. He's done.
Oh, he's done. I don't even think that's even on the table. Even though people are asking him, "Oh, wait, watch, and see," or something like that, he says. I think it's just all talk. Myself, I think it's just his way. The rest of the world's playing checkers. He's playing chess, and he's going to figure things out. Just same thing with the Iran thing that we talked about last time. Something's going to happen there too because
we're not the only ones that have protests because they have some in Nuuk
is the capital.
They're protesting there. They don't want the U.S. to take it over.
No, I don't blame them. I mean, I understand what they're probably going through, but they probably will be better off. They'll probably have better health care. They'll probably now. I don't know if it's going to be. It's not going to be like the 51st state.
No. It's going to be a
right.
call.
I mean, here, just to give you an idea, successful purchases that we've done in the past. Okay, Louisiana Purchase, 1803. The U.S. bought approximately 828,000 square miles of territory from France for $15 million. Florida, 1819, acquired from Spain via the Adams-Onis Treaty. John Adams was a part of that. While not a direct cash payment for land, but the U.S. agreed to assume $5 million in legal claims against Spain. Gadsden Purchase. The U.S. paid Mexico $10 million for a strip of land that is now part of southern Arizona and New Mexico. Alaska. We all talked about Alaska. They paid $7.2 million in 1867 from Russia. The Philippines. Following the Spanish-American War, the U.S. paid Spain $20 million for Archipelago. So I guess it's part of the Philippines. And then the U.S. Virgin Islands, people forget about that. 1917, purchased from Denmark. Denmark, who owns Greenland, 25 million in gold to prevent German control during World War II.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
I mean, and then if you go a little bit further, you got the ones that didn't work out, which Greenland, in 1867, Secretary of State William Stewart explored buying both Greenland and Iceland. And in 1946, President Harry Truman made a formal offer to Greenland, to Denmark, for Greenland at $100 million in gold, and they rejected it. And he pushed it even more. And Congress was saying it might be a good idea because it's strategic and everything. That was right after the World War II. It was strategic and everything for our military to be there.
Right.
And nobody says anything about that. And that's Harry Truman. Everybody loved Harry Truman. And then Donald Trump tried to do it in 19, and then now in 2024. And it hasn't worked yet, but he's trying.
Well, yeah, and there have been other bids to buy Greenland before, and they made an offer, and they said no, and then that was it. But see, that's not going to happen with Trump.
No, you
He's
know,
going to make an offer.
he's going to make an
They're
offer.
going to say no, and he's going to say not good enough. And
Right.
we're going to keep coming back and forth and back
Yeah,
and forth.
he's not going to invade. He's not going to send troops in. There's 57,000 people there. Most of them are descendants. I looked into this a little bit of China, Mongolia, and all that area. I mean, that's all. They're like Eskimos in a way.
Yeah.
That's what they are. I
Yeah.
mean, I understand they have their land and peace, but they're not happy with Denmark. Denmark is spending all their money on Denmark. They're not really
Helping Greenland.
helping Greenland at
Right.
all. All that money, because it's a very socialist country, all that money is going to their socialist views over there, such as health care and this, that, and the other thing. And because I don't know that the kid, what's the kid that did the interview up in Minnesota? That
Shirley.
Shirley.
Yeah.
He did a
Nick Shirley.
Nick Shirley. He went to Nook, the capital, and he interviewed people. And I would say about 75% didn't want to become part of America.
Okay.
There was 25 or 30% that said, wouldn't probably be a bad idea. We'd probably, come out of it a little bit better, be taken care of a little bit better. Taxes would be better, and this, that, and the other thing.
And they'll be part of NATO, which they are now anyway. And it is a strategic location
Right.
to help
Oh,
protect,
it is. No doubt about it, because
help
China
protect
wants
us.
it.
I know.
China does
There's
want
there's a reason they
there's
want it.
there's minerals there, there's oil there,
Yeah.
and it's close to the United States. They can bomb from there. We got Space Force there up in the left-hand corner in the western part of the country. And that's the other thing, the dome, this big dome that Trump wants to do.
Yeah.
He already promised Canada that they would be covered.
Right. So
And
he wants to
he wants to cover in Greenland too.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I'm
But this goes back all the way back to the British.
yes,
Britain.
it does.
It was
Yeah.
we a direct attack to the east coast of the United
Right.
States without Greenland being there to help intercept, and that's what they're thinking now. I mean, but with Trump, everything's a national security threat. Whatever it is. If I don't get that Coke, it's a national security threat. So we're going to see what happens with that. I mean, but there's been other bids, and they tried before, and you read me some of the quotes, and they said no, but now he's really trying hard.
Yep.
But I just don't believe in the fact, whether he does it or not, he shouldn't threaten tariffs. I mean,
I know what you mean. He made all these deals with these countries with trade and everything like that.
which ended up working out because people
Working
made
out.
fun of it and they were busting
Right.
him about it anyway, and it all worked out in the long run. Now nobody's saying anything about that.
There's got to be something behind it. You got to know that his people behind him, Lutnick and the other guy Bassett or whatever, and Rubio, they got some kind of thing up their sleeve.
Well, look at Venezuela.
Yeah.
Well, what was there? Oil.
Well,
Exxon was in there.
it
all
was
these people.
probably realistically 30-40% of the drugs. The rest was oil.
Yeah.
I mean, we did put those.
You said they were
refineries there.
They were not bombing any boats recently, huh?
They're not.
Wonder why?
Because Maduro's gone. He's not. He's got to be going broke.
Yeah.
Whoever the cartels there, they got to be going broke because then nothing was coming in
Yeah.
as far as money. They were it all went down to the Atlantic or in the Caribbean.
Yeah, really. Well, so lots of diplomatic meeting. I guess J.D. Vance stepped in. Marco Rubio is part of this. And some of the Danish, Greenlandic foreign ministers.
Yeah, high-level talks occurred in
Yep.
Washington mid-January between U.S. officials
Yep.
and J.D. Vance and Marco Rubio and Danish Greenlandic foreign ministers. They all had a meeting, I guess, at the White House.
They said it was a bipartisan
Yes.
congressional delegation. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they visited Denmark to reassure leaders that most Americans oppose the acquisition. So we're telling them that most of the Americans here oppose it.
Right. That doesn't matter to Trump. If he sees it that's going to be a benefit to the country,
Right.
whether it's now or next year, or he could be looking at 10 years from now, 15 years from now, if
Right.
we have it. And then people are going to look back at him and say, he was right.
With technology and military buildup and
Oh.
all this stuff going on.
The Iron
Thinking
Dome that he
ahead.
wants to put, the dome
Yeah.
and all that. Isn't that amazing? That was something that Reagan talked about way back
It was
then.
called Star Wars.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yep. And now he brought this whole out with Space
Iron
Force and
Dome.
everything.
God forbid you should use Star Wars. That was great.
Yeah.
All right, now it's an Iron Dome.
Iron Dome.
Was it literally like a big iron? There won't be no sun to come in.
I don't know.
You know what it is? It's Missile Command, the old game. There were bases down at the bottom, and missiles were coming in. You have to shoot the missiles out of the sky. That's essentially what it is.
Well, that's what Israel's got.
Patriot missiles coming down.
Israel does. That's why Israel doesn't get bombed as much as like the other countries do.
Right.
Like when Iran launches a missile into Israel, they have that dome that we put there for them.
Right. Takes it out before the.
And then when Gaza was doing it, the Palestinians, the dome was protecting them from their missiles.